Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. What about you?
Nothing much. Late start today, but hey, like it happens. But when everything kind of works out, you
hmm
just feel better.
Better late than never.
Exactly.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a like. Today, we will be discussing The Real Housewives of Dallas, Season 5, Episode 5, Sour Grapes. What was your impression of this episode?
Oh, if I'm honest, it just didn't do too much. I mean, basically, what you got out of what I got out of it is that Deandra and Carrie don't really communicate in their friendship.
Mm-hmm.
They communicate their issues with each other to other people, not to each other, which
Yeah.
is the big issue that I
Mm-hmm.
saw. They were just Deandra and Carrie just acting a fool at Brandy's party. I'm like, okay. And then you guys talking it out, but then you guys had a conversation, but then you still went and did the same thing you did before. That made no sense to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and then Tiffany, I feel bad for her. She's really struggling
Yeah.
with balance. So
Mm-hmm. So let's do a quick summary of the episode. We open again at Brandy's birthday party day trip, and the ladies are still arguing. Um, God, it gets so bad that Brandy has to actually scream and beg these women to stop. Then we see Carrie and Cameron kidnap Captain Brandy. Um, After the winery, they go to a bar. After the bar, they go shopping. And then after shopping, they go to dinner. So it's a full day for them. Then we see a nice scene between Carrie and her daughter Sophia, which I think she's the oldest of her daughters. She's older than
Sophia,
Olivia.
yes, I think Sophia's the one that graduated from college.
Yes, yeah. And then we see Tiffany having a heart to heart with her husband, Daniel. All right, let's jump into this mess. Okay. I don't know why everybody decided to argue at the winery because this was kind of defeating the purpose of having a birthday celebration for someone. Like, if she hated birthdays before, this confirms why she hates
Hmm.
birthdays. And then to have the birthday girl scream at everyone and beg them to stop, they should all apologize to her.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks. Kind
It's
of
supposed to be
sucks.
fun. You don't do the birthday, but then you go out because your friends are doing it for you. Like, thank you so much. And this is like, you brought me out for this. It's like, seriously?
hmm and it's not just Deandra and Carrie. Like, Tiffany goes at it with Carrie, and then Cameron at some point tries to jump in, going back to the dim sum crap. She needs to let that go. We
Yeah.
understand it. You didn't want to eat a chicken foot, and you didn't eat it. Let it
Right.
go. Let it go. Um, okay, so then Brandy says, stop arguing, Yeah, I found it really interesting that nobody said sorry. Nobody listened to that because they were still nitpicking at each other. And when Tiffany and Deandra decide to go to the restroom, what's the first thing they do? Cameron and Carrie decide to steal the head. Like, that isn't going to start up issues again.
Right.
Childish and immature. Um, After the head is stolen, but before they leave the winery, they have to go and do a massive search for this stupid head. One would have figured they would have left it behind.
Hmm.
Or maybe she uses it at home for something else. I don't know.
Probably. I hope so. Because it'd be kind of dumb just to have it there and do nothing.
Well, they all get on the bus and they're heading to a bar. Like, they have the bar exclusively for themselves. It's been cleaned, everyone has been tested, and they go to the bar and they have like Pickle shots. You ever heard of pickle shots?
No, it
That
doesn't sound.
sounds
It doesn't sound good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they have pickle shots, and then Brandy decides to teach them how to dance. I think she's finally getting into the spirit of the day when she gets to the bar.
Right.
She gets up
That's
on
the way I take it too.
a she's finally getting into it. She gets up on a bar and she goes, "Okay, ladies, we're going to teach you how to dance." And they actually all participate, which was refreshing. Like, I remember when this franchise first started, it was giggly. You had the two airheads, Stephanie and Brandy, lighthearted, pranks, a lot of drinking. That bar scene took me back to that. But then it got mean with Leanne, and I kind of stopped watching.
It was, yeah. She was just. I think with her being mean for me with Leanne, it was just attention seeking. That's all, and she didn't need to do that because she was just funny being herself.
I don't know, but like seeing them all get together, whether they could dance or not, whether they looked good or bad, and just like doing the pickle shots and then like doing their little pop that booty thing, like that like that part of the episode made me happy.
Hmm. No, I
Just
completely get it
something as simple as that made me happy.
because the
Um,
boys will break in the nonsense they've been
mhm.
bickering over.
And then it all went away because Carrie has a real problem with Deandra, and it's not with her not sharing space at a trade show or
Hmm.
in the hotel room for their equipment for the shows or whatever. It's about Deandra as a person and how she was born into this life, something she can't control. It's not her fault that she was born into wealth and that she lives a certain way. And so what if her mother is her security blanket and benefactor? So what? You know, you have a different path in life. You had a divorce. Stop saying that if your current husband, like, chooses to divorce you, you've only got your jewelry business. You've got a jewelry business that can support you. You've proven that it can support you. Stop
Hmm.
complaining or watching other people and what their purse holds and concentrate on your own.
Yeah, I was just it was just really weird that she would bring that up. I was like, well, that's not her fault, like it's not her fault that her mother um got married a second time and he just happened to have money. That's not her fault. I mean, this man like literally loved her as his own daughter, which is why he adopted her. And for her to even try to make this an issue, I was like, you're reaching now. You're
Yeah.
really reaching. What's really going on with the situation? Because it can't be because um Deandra has a lifestyle to where she doesn't have to work, and that's the thing. That's what irritated me. Carrie is like, well, Carrie, you have to need to understand. Like, does Deandra have to work? Not really, but she chooses to work. She chose to take over her mother's business. She chose to try to save the business. So she works hard. Just because she doesn't really, she's not in a position where she has to, is not her fault. And also, if we're really being honest, based on what we've seen, it seems like her husband does very well, and he doesn't. And he's supporting the family quite well.
Mhm.
And the only reason she started her jewelry business is out of the fear of him leaving her for someone else, and she didn't want to be stuck. So you started your business out of fear. So and Deanna took over a business because she wanted to. There's nothing wrong with each, but don't try to shame someone else who doesn't have to quote unquote work as hard as you do.
Well, if that's the reason why Carrie started her business was because of fear of her husband leaving her, one, is there a reason why he's going to leave her? And two, address that fear with him.
Right.
And not like don't target Deandra because of that. You
Because
could be a Deandra, if you work your business correctly.
because
I,
he's because go ahead. Sorry.
no, I just didn't understand that interaction that she had at the bar. I can't remember
Correct.
who it was with. I think it was with Brandy, right?
I want to say it was Brandy. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And when she was at the winery, it was because she was under stress
Mm-hmm.
from the situation with her kids. Which one is it?
And it was interesting because she said she felt that um Deandra doesn't ever ask anything about her life, which was
Mhm,
interesting. And then Deandra said the same thing about Carrie.
mhm.
And I'm glad. I mean, I'm not a fan of repeating things, but Cameron spilled the beans, and I was in this situation. I was okay with it. She's like, I guess she got to the point like, you guys are saying the same thing about each other, so here it is. Talk about it, fix it.
Mhm.
So I'm not mad. I'm not really mad at that, to be completely honest.
But in with regards to Carrie, I don't think any of those reasons are why she's mad at Deandra. Like I just can't figure it out. Maybe there are just too many excuses that she's rolling out.
Hmm.
Um, and I've yet to determine which one is more believable. Um,
I can see that.
I wonder how much is she drinking,
Hmm.
and what she accused Leanne of. Like she's just turning into a Leanne. She would be the reason why I stopped watching this franchise again. I stopped it before because of Leanne and how mean she was. Carrie's no better.
Not really. If we're being honest, Carrie's like really no better because
Yeah,
you're not you're it's just weird. Like you're just mean to her for no reason. Like if you were actually friends, you would have been told her about this. At least
that's
I would tell my friend.
true.
At least I would tell my friend. Like so, with me and my very best friend, we set boundaries. Like we said, these are our boundaries. This is what we agreed to. If we ever have any issue with each other, we talk it through. We talk about it. And he even says, I can never see that happening with us. I'm like, you just never know, but we have to agree now that if we're going to have issues, we don't speak to other people about it. Um, we always communicate with each other, and then we
Mhm,
don't leave the conversation until it's resolved, or we come to an
mhm,
agree to disagree. And we've been close for about 3 years now, and we've never had like a major disagreement. We have different perspectives, but we're different people, and I'm slightly older, but we just always talk through things. Like if he'll come to me for advice, I go to him for advice, and we just talk through it. And that's what to me that's what friends do. And for me, is like when I see them, like, you don't really have a real friendship. Like Stephanie and Brandy have a real friendship because they've gone
mhm,
through it and they've
mhm,
gotten mad at each other. They come back. So
mhm.
that's the problem with those two.
I don't know. I think Carrie can't expect the same friendship from all of her friends, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you could have a group of friends, but there's one that you can always go to if you have a secret and you just need to share it with somebody. But then there's one that you can go to trash talk about other people. Or
Mhm.
there's one that you can go to if you need like someone who will always like cheer you on, like your cheerleader.
Right.
You have to know which friend is which. If you feel that Deandra doesn't ever ask you about yourself, then you keep that person as just like a surface friend. But then you
Hmm.
have somebody like Stephanie, obviously, because since she told Stephanie about what was going on with her daughter, that's the person that you go to get empathy from, that can hold your secrets. Don't expect each friend to do the same thing.
Hmm. Every friend is different. You can't treat all your friends the same. You can treat them fairly, and you can expect to be treated fairly, but they're not
Hmm.
all the same.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Like you broke it down perfectly. You have a friend for this, a friend for that.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
different. But like for me, for my very best friend, like that's the one I go to for pretty much everything, and that's the person you should
Mhm.
expect the most from.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think she's being unrealistic because like I had stopped watching this for a while, but Deandra and her only had like business ventures in common.
Right. And the thing
So
is
that's a
this is like
professional friendship.
right. It's like Carrie. Y'all just met last year, I think, because of the show. So I don't think Carrie knew Deandra prior to being on the show. So you can't have that much expectation from her.
Correct. Yeah. It's just very odd that she's continuously nagging on this, much like how we are continuously nagging on the dissection of this friendship. It was just very weird.
I think it's good because this was like a centerpiece of
Mhm.
the episode, and it seems to be it. This has been a running theme since the beginning of the season. So we see more and more cracks, and they're actually being honest now. I think that's the biggest thing. They're being honest because we were trying to figure out as the viewer, like, why are you so mad? Like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't seem right. Like, you're all nitpicky at each other. Now this we're what episode 5. Now we understand why they're mad at each other. It's just they're not communicating to each other.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, we're at the bar after the dance tutorial. They get the bartender's fake beard, and Brandy sticks it in her crotch, and her and Carrie go out in the street to get honks. Whatever.
Right.
It's just dumb. Ay, ay, ay. But then we go to a souvenir shop, and all this time I thought it was a sex shop. When we were seeing the previews, I did not
Mhm.
realize it was a souvenir shop, because of the spanking. And little
I
did I
thought it was
know.
I didn't think it was. I'm with you. I thought it was a sex toy shop too.
Yeah.
I did not get souvenirs from that. I'm
They
sorry.
were buying, like, cute little dresses for their kids. Like, I was like, "Why is a spanking paddle in this
Right.
shop?" It was a charcuterie board. Like, ew, I will
Whoa,
never eat off of that. I agree with whoever said that. I think it was either Tiffany or Cam. I
Cameron.
will never eat off of that owner house.
Mm-mm. No.
Oh my god, they really the editing on this was perfect because I really thought they went to a sex toy shop. I ain't gonna
That's the
lie.
way I thought. They had me completely fooled. I'm like, this is interesting. This is fun. Good job. And I saw them buying dresses. Like, huh? I'm like, is this appropriate? And then it kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, never mind. My
Yes,
bad.
yeah, but anyway, wah, wah. And then, to end off the day, we go to dinner, thank God, because there's been a lot of drinking, and,
Hmm.
with the exception of Jen. What did you think about her, admission about, cutting herself off when she saw she was getting too far with alcohol, so now she doesn't drink?
I thought that was kind of cool for her to share that, especially being kind of new to the, at least new to us, new to the group,
Mhm.
and like she's very self aware,
Mhm.
and she understands herself. She's not one of those people who's in denial, and I
Mhm.
appreciate that about her. I was like, well, okay, this makes sense because she didn't drink at. I don't think she drank anything at any of the parties that we saw, and I don't think I've seen her drink at all. And I was wondering, like, oh, like maybe she's had something earlier we just didn't see. But now to hear her this her saying it, like, it makes sense now. I
Yep.
get it. Like I applaud it.
Yeah. You can have a good time without the alcohol. Hint, hint, Carrie, Brandy.
I know because I know a couple of people to where they've had their issues with alcohol. They don't cut it out completely, but they have a strict limit of what they'll drink. Like it's
Mhm.
I've never seen it. Like one friend, he only will have 2 beers max.
Mm.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long he's out. 2 beers max. That's it. Another one will not drink anything stronger than a vodka cranberry. Nothing stronger.
Mm.
Yeah. So I can relate to her, not personally because I don't drink unless I'm out. If I don't drink by myself, I find it inappropriate. I don't
What?
need. Mm-mm,
I drink by
no,
myself all the time.
mm-mm,
I'm the best
no.
person to drink with.
Oh, it's because I think when I see drinking, I see it as a social thing.
Oh.
Um, yeah, it's completely social. I know some people do drink by themselves, and I always wonder why. I was like, why? But then someone else
Because
told me
if
like,
there's a stressful day, or if there's a good show on where you do need a drink just to
oh,
get you through it.
let me clarify. When I say drink, I mean like you're going out to the club drink. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. Like, if I'm
That
at
kind of
home,
thing.
yeah. No, I meant, like, I'm at home, it's six
No, no,
o'clock
no,
with
no.
dinner, I'll have a glass of
Oh no.
wine.
For pasta and red wine, yeah, we're good. I'm talking about
Okay.
when I say drink, I think when I think of drinking, I think of like the more going out to the club partying drink. I'm like, that's not something I do at home. No,
Oh, no.
no stuff.
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry, everyone. When I say drink, when I think of drinking, I think of like drinking.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't do that hardcore drinking anymore.
Yeah,
It's been decades. Um, but yeah, I like to remember what I've done.
like I just don't like why when I think drinking, like I think more of like the person sitting at home with like the gallon jugs of wine and they drink the whole thing.
Yeah, no. Uh-uh. I
Yeah, that's why
usually have
we.
one drink, unless
Yeah,
it's champagne, and then I'll have a cup because it's a
yeah,
small glass.
yeah. Like getting sloppy drunk at home is not good, in my opinion.
No, it isn't, because there's usually some unexplained
Hmm.
accident the next day that you have to clean up and you're wondering why it happened.
Right.
But
Exactly.
if you are going to get sloppy drunk and pass out, at home is the best place to do it.
It is the best place. It is
Yes.
the best place. It really, really is. My concerns with you know, is just like you're like disoriented and you hurt yourself and no one knows stuff like that.
Mhm. Okay, so getting back to these loop-de-loops. Okay, so at the bar, we said that Carrie spoke with Brandy about what her frustrations are.
Hmm.
So when they're, I guess, at the shop, Brandy tries to explain Carrie's position to Deandra. I think a problem with Deandra is that she doesn't listen.
No, she's kind of wrapped up in her own head.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I noticed Deandra's very focused, but she's focused so much on herself and what she needs to do, what she needs to get
Mhm.
done. She doesn't really allow for anyone else's thoughts or life to come into her focal point, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like she's so concerned about what she has to do for this and that she doesn't take the time to listen to others.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if Carrie and Deandra could actually fix this because Deandra doesn't listen and Carrie talks a lot, but I don't think Deandra could take it in because it all sounds like wah 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 wah.
Right. That's very true. Like you have one person, when you have one person who talks a lot and one who doesn't listen, that really doesn't work too well. Because
Yeah.
if you notice with Deandra, the main person she listens to are her mother and her husband, but
Mhm.
it's because they have her one on one and they have her complete focus.
But Carrie and not Carrie, Brandy had her kind of one-on-one. Wait, was Jen there? But Jen wasn't saying anything. It was just
Right.
like a one-on-one. I don't think she respects these women enough to listen to them. I think she respects her husband and her mother.
That's that's a pretty fair point, actually.
And I don't know how long these women have been in her life, but those two are her anchor, her mom and her husband. They've
True.
held her down all of these years through ups and downs. These people are new to her. Like, they haven't earned a bar of trust with her yet. So she's going to
Mhm.
be guarded and not really hear any or take in anything they have to say as opposed to her husband or her mom.
And maybe Tiffany.
Tiffany, well, because she got the golden ticket in because her mom vouched for her.
Right. And they've been friends, but they've been friends for a while. You can tell. You
Mm.
definitely tell they've been friends. I think when if Tiffany speaks to her, she listens because
Yep.
you can tell because anyone who can come into your house and just walk into your house and just be treated so warmly like family, like you have a good friendship. So I have a feeling, but I have a feeling we may not see it on camera. I bet you behind the scenes, Tiffany does pull Deandra aside, like, look, this is what's going on here.
You know what else? I think Deandra respects her, like how smart she is, like her level of education, her
Hmm.
accomplishments at such a young age and what she's doing now. Because you notice that that's like whenever she's defending her, she starts reading off her resume. Well, not
Hmm.
literally, but you know what I mean?
I
Like
know exactly
how
what you mean.
accomplished she is. Like none of the other women give a jack toodly toot about that.
And then that's what makes that's I understood where Tiffany was coming from. Now it was kind of interesting to me. Like Carrie kind of irritated me in that moment because you don't make fun of someone who's actually like is like basically on the front lines making this effort during COVID. Like I just completely thought she was inappropriate
Oh, you
because
mean when she said, "You're the one who's dealing with COVID people every day. Why should we have
I
you
was
here?"
like that is so tone deaf for you to say that.
In that moment, she reminded me of Leanne.
Hmm.
And I had started questioning myself, like, has this show really changed? Like, who is this Carrie person? Have they just replaced Leanne with Carrie? I don't even get it. She's not coming off as a very nice person.
No, not at all. I'm looking at her like, did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Was you a doctor? You're a doctor. I'm like, that was so inappropriate and so I just didn't understand why I was kind of just floored that she would react that way and say that. Yes, she's a doctor. I mean, this is what she does. And she was saying, I have responsibilities. And
Mhm.
Carrie just kind of just brushed it off. I'm like, are you serious right now?
But this is the reason why Carrie is sitting in a cesspool of her own misery. She's a miserable individual. And I want to know if there's something else going on in her personal life that's making all of this come to the forefront now with
Mm-hmm.
these women. This is not normal.
Mm-mm. And Stephanie alluded to that in her confessional too.
Stephanie seems to know all the dirt on Carrie because she knew about the daughter's situation, Olivia's situation.
Mm-hmm.
God only knows what else she knows. Like she actually understands the best the frickin' frack between Carrie and Deandra because she's been joking about it in her confessionals the whole season.
Mm-hmm. She gets it. She knows what's going on. And I would like, I think of everyone in the group, I think Stephanie would be the best person to talk to about anything because she's had her own issues and she's been so open with her issues. She just makes you feel comfortable, like you can tell her anything. And she doesn't, you could tell she doesn't go back around repeating stuff either.
I'm so surprised because I consider her like an airhead. But
It's
she's
easy to do
smarter
that.
than I give her credit for.
It's easy to do that with how she comes across. Because she just, how can I put it? I don't want to say childlike, but she seems to have an innocence about her, and she just seems so young compared to everyone else that you kind of
Mhm,
overlook her. You overlook that she is intelligent because
mhm,
Travis is a very accomplished man.
mhm,
So, from my standpoint, a man of his accomplishments, I don't think he would pick a dumb wife. You know what I mean? He needs
mhm.
someone who can really compliment him, and I. So to me, that lets me know Stephanie got some brains, and she's very observant. If you
Travis picked a wife to cater to him, and that's about it.
but Stephanie doesn't do that though.
Now,
Hey,
and
she's come a long way.
she said it. She goes, "I lost myself along the way, just focusing on my family and my
Mhm,
husband.
mhm.
Now she's stepping out. I'm liking it."
She's it's interesting how it happens to women that way. Like they get so wrapped up in being a wife and being a mom and this and that. I was like, you forget that you're still a woman too. Like,
Mhm,
so I'm like,
mhm.
I get it. I can see like how because you just want to be the best and do this and that and make sure you're doing it right. So I get it. But now she's like, okay, like Travis, we've done this. The kids are in school. Now it's time for me to like do my thing.
Yeah. Well, the dinner, like they have their meal, a beautiful cake comes out. I'm sure that we had a few more arguments along the way. I think at one point, um, Carrie and Deandra get back into it again. Um, I don't know. They the two of them ruined that day for me as a viewer.
Mhm.
you know? But then it's the next day, and we see a couple of the ladies doing stuff. Brandy's taking a bubble bath with her kids. Cameron is working out with that dog while it stools all over her equipment. And then we see Carrie and her daughter Sophia. Sophia's the one that just graduated from university. Um, she's helping her mom out with the jewelry business. But the mom decides that she's going to talk to Sophia, scared that something that like what's happening with Olivia could possibly be happening with Sophia.
Mhm.
And is is she trying to say like the reason why Olivia and probably Sophia could be going through this is because of her divorce?
Yeah, but I just don't see how the two correlate.
How long has she been divorced? If you like, I don't know anything about this woman.
Um, she got divorced when her kids were young. So you have to she and her husband her current husband have one child and I think she's 12.
Mm-hmm.
So the divorce happened at least 12 years ago, if not more.
Hmm.
You know what I
Little
mean?
kids are resilient. Like
Hmm.
unless Carrie and her ex-husband have been fighting all of these
Right.
years. That's interesting. That's good to know. I'm gonna
Here's the
keep that
thing.
in my back pocket.
Now that you said that, I'm gonna say this, or I want your opinion. So if she thinks the divorce may have caused the anxiety in the girls or whatever, whatever, and if it's due to fighting, do you think there is those two have been fighting behind the scenes?
Carrie
Because
and
it
her
was
ex-husband
well, Carrie and her current husband.
and her cut. Well, that's what I've been
You know what I mean? You
asking.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I've been
Okay.
asking because she keeps on like talking in terms of what if and fall back on and supporting me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it all sounds like a woman planning for an eventual divorce,
Right.
unless she just has a very negative outlook on
Mm-hmm.
things. But I'm still trying to piece it together. And that's why I was just like, and her anger towards Deandra obviously represents something to her that's like setting her off.
Right.
I was just wondering if like the relationship is that good with her current husband.
Right. That's what when you said what you just said, I'm like, well, the only line I can draw in correlation is are
Mhm.
they are they fighting?
It it'd make a good storyline.
Because when you see them, they're always happy, like everything seems to be cool, but you just never know what's going on. And like you said, she does sound like a woman preparing for an exit.
Yeah, because if you're happy in your marriage, why are you saying, um, if he what did she say, Enrique or something? If Enrique leaves me tomorrow, all I have is my jewelry line to support me. What?
Right.
So he ain't gonna break you off a settlement? You ain't gonna get alimony? Like, was your
Right.
prenup that bad?
And you got minor child and you got minor child.
Yeah, like I just don't get where her anger is coming from, and the things that she's saying is they're sending up little flags for me. Like, is
Right.
everything good at Camp Carrie?
And it was not focus on that.
Mhm. Mhm. But her daughter Sophia shuts her down right away. I don't want to talk about that. Done.
Hmm.
Don't try to write a new storyline here, Carrie. Stop it. Stop. See, this is a perfect example of dragging children into your storyline on these reality shows.
True.
Sophia knew how to end this right away. She's like, I told you I'll come on here and I'll bag up all the jewelry that you want. Don't ask me no
Hmm.
questions.
Right.
And then you got people like Lisa Rinna who bringing on emotionally damaged individuals like her daughter Amelia and talking all sorts of smack with her and getting her child involved in grown folks' arguments.
That's the
Big
thing.
difference.
Yeah, huge difference. Because my whole thing is this: like, as when you're the child of a star, it's your job just to be filler.
Mhm,
You're there to lend to the storyline, but
mhm,
you don't come for the other castmates because if you're over 18, you are fair game in my opinion,
mhm,
and
mhm,
you can get dragged just like your mama can get dragged. Quit playing. Now, I hate when people say like, "Oh, like it's not cool to comfort kids." Like the whole like, was it Ramona, Avery, Leah situation?
mhm.
Like, nah, Avery, Avery popped up at the mouth. She thought she was grown. Leah
Mhm.
gave her the business, and you can't get mad about that. I don't like when parents are like, "No, your child shouldn't have said nothing."
Well, which time did she pop off? The one where she was on social media or the
On
one
social
where
media,
she was well, social media is fair game.
yeah,
Social
that's
media
my
is fair
opinion.
game. You know,
They'll be tagging me and stuff.
you go on social media and and start acting the fool, you reap what you sow.
Exactly.
I'll cut you a little slack when you're on your mom's show. But again, if you say the wrong thing and you're old enough, fair game.
I feel
Because
like
if
if
mhm,
I feel this is the way I feel. I feel like if you are bold enough to address me directly, then I'm going to address you directly.
if you woman enough to come up here with that mouth, be prepared to get smacked down because you playing with the grown folks, you know?
Yeah, it's not good if you can't handle it.
As my mom says, know your place. Know your place. Yeah, so she shuts her down. And Carrie ends it off by apologizing.
Which was good.
Yeah, yeah, but she shouldn't have tried to create a scene
Yeah.
like that because I'm sure that Sophia said, "I'm gonna pack these bags for you."
Hmm.
Nothing more.
I can see that.
And you could see Carrie was struggling to try and bring that up with her.
She was though.
It was a poorly crafted scene. Horrible. But yeah, then we go over to Tiffany at her house. She's doing homework with the girls. Um, and then she goes upstairs to talk to her husband, Daniel. And she's, like you said, she's struggling to try and find a balance. And she fears that she's not present for her girls. Like she's missing so much. And she feels guilt. I found this to be so interesting. She feels guilt at letting down her parents because they sacrificed so much to bring her here, give her the opportunities for a better life, great education. She's succeeded at her career. She's done everything possible, but yet she's still guilty that if she were to take a step back and go part-time at her
Hmm.
profession, her mom in particular would be disappointed and like I
Just like
that
Wendy,
pressure on her.
just like Wendy Oseffo's mom. When she wanted to step out of teaching and do
Mhm,
something else, her mom was like, why? What's
mhm,
going on? Like, no, like this would bring shame like shame upon me. I'm like, whoa. And I can see the parallels with Tiffany, like her, like 'cause she said she told her mom like, I'm gonna go part time, and her mom was like, are you tired? Why you go part
mhm,
time? You don't want to
mhm.
work hard? And I'm like, wow. I'm like,
But no, that's
Dang.
what Tiffany's anticipating her to say. Like, if she were to tell her
Oh,
mom, yeah, she's like, I
I
could
thought that's what
just
her
hear
mom
my mom
said.
saying,
Oh, okay. I
"What
was
you
like, what?
you're tired? What?" They worked multiple jobs. They know what it is to be tired, but they kept on doing it. Like, she's anticipating the
Gotcha. Okay.
disappointment from her mom.
Okay.
But, you know, I feel so bad for her because, like, this is the immigrant story.
Hmm.
You leave a better life where you were, you take that risk and you come here, you work like a dog so that your children will benefit from it and do better.
Hmm.
And so then the parent is just like, you've achieved this, okay, keep going. And all she wants to do is to be a better mom than her mom was to her.
Exactly. She wants to be present. She wants to be there, because she's worked so hard to get to the top of her vision, and
Mhm.
she's done it. And now that she's done it, she kind of feels like she could take a step back and be more present for her children, because her children are like, "Mommy, come play with me, Mom. Let's go ride our
Mhm.
bike." Like she said, I guess her daughter Chloe asked her like to go ride bikes, and she's like, "Can we just not?" Because she was tired. And I'm like, I felt bad for both of them in that moment, because she's like, I let
Mhm.
down my daughter, but I don't want to disappoint my parents. I was like, oh, like I root for her because I can see her struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, and I felt bad for her when she described her childhood as being lonely because her mother was not like a touchy-feely kind of mom,
Right.
and she was probably busy working and
Mhm.
tired,
Yeah.
you know? Tiffany has a lot of advantages, and I think she needs to realize that. And I think she needs to realize that being present and available for her children is another form of success.
Mhm.
It's not all about your profession. Like, you have all of the degrees. You have all of the acclaim. You have made it to where you needed to be, where aspired to be. You have a successful marriage. Like, it's not like if you cut back on working, like your family's going to starve. It's not.
I think that's not the way she's thinking about it. The way I took it is like
Right.
she's measuring her success against her parents' expectations, or her perceived expectation that they want for her. I hope
Correct.
I'm saying it right.
No, you
So
are. You are, and I agree
she
with you.
and she what I'm getting from her, she's just so fearful of disappointing them. But she needs to she's not taking in everything, she's not taking in the whole picture. She's taking this one snippet of like, I need to do this, versus like, I need to take step back so my whole world could be more complete.
Right, but I agree with that. But what I'll give advice to Tiffany about is, all right, you've reached your parents' requirements for levels of success. Now you need to turn that around and define your own levels of success.
I love
You've
that. That's
achieved
perfect.
everything. You fulfilled your requirement to your parents, your
Hmm.
duties to your parents. You're good. Now, you need to look at what you have become, what you hope to be, and how your family fits into that. And just redefine new goals that you've created for yourself and move forward with those, and not count it as being a failure to anyone, because you have already succeeded 1,000 times over for your parents. Now try to succeed for yourself. That's all I'm advising of her. Just
That's
redefine your
perfect.
goals. Yep.
That's perfect. And I'm like, this, ma'am, you need to understand. You was a whole doctor at 25. Quit playing.
And
That's
and
enough. That's enough.
honestly, as an anesthesiologist, I think
Right.
she can make beaucoup money, full-time or part-time,
Yeah. Because
and go
in
do the early shift. The 6 a.m. surgeries, go in early for those and get home by 12.
right, she could do
Mhm.
that easily.
And
Because
she'll be
your
there when the kids get home.
and your husband, like, he's not tripping. He wants you to. He's cool with you like taking a step back. You know, he's very understanding. He understands her struggle with the balance,
Mhm.
and I just say do it and just do it for yourself. I find it interesting, and I'm not sure if you caught this too. The people that Carrie has the most issues with are the people with full time jobs. She has an
Mm.
issue with Deandra.
Mhm.
She has an issue with Tiffany. Both women have full time jobs. So she picked that
Mm.
Deandra for having a business of her own. And, you know, she has her mother, quote unquote, as a safety net. Then you have Tiffany, who has a full time job, who in theory has her husband as a safety net. So
Mhm.
what I'm seeing from Carrie is that she's all like, I wish I could have my business and a safety net. So I have a feeling she feels like she's walking a tightrope with no net. She
Mhm.
doesn't feel like she has the safety net of her husband. That's what I'm gathering from her. When I look at
Mhm.
her issues with Deandra and issues with Tiffany, those are the things they have in common.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that needs to come to the light with Carrie,
Yes.
so that it would make her actions, her behaviors, understandable. Because right now, I don't understand why she's behaving like that, and why she's directing her anger at one or two specific targets.
Hmm.
Tiffany, I think she needs to start living for herself now.
Yes.
She's
Hmm.
fulfilled her duties to her parents. Start fulfilling your duties to your children.
I just think she's amazing, and she just needs
Mhm.
to
She
be
needs
okay.
to realize she's amazing.
Yes, she needs to be okay with taking a step back.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else in the episode that was of
Um,
note to you?
no, I think that was it.
That was it? Okay. Well, everyone, this was the Real Housewives of Dallas, season 5, episode 5, Sour Grapes. If we missed anything, if you thought that our comments were janky, leave us a comment below. We read everything and we respond. Hit that thumbs up button if you liked our commentary. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're aware every time we send out new content. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.